as a brief interlude for you guys, and it is a D&D questionnaire or quiz. Really, it's a bit of errata that has come out, the Sage Advice Compendium. So if you look on a Wizard's website, Jeremy Crawford answers these questions every month, kind of common questions about D&D, and I'm gonna take this off the screen so you guys can't see it. I'm gonna ask you some questions. Basically, it's kind of odd questions about D&D, and you'll see, we're gonna see if you guys know the answers to these questions. So the first one is for 5 points, guys. For 5 points, does the trance trait allow an elf to finish a long rest in 4 hours? Does the trance trait allow an elf to finish a rest in 4 hours rather than the 8 hours that humans usually use? Where can we get the Dungeons and Dads as a module? Coming out soon. Going out very soon indeed. Oh yeah, of course, the VTT uses a matter of preference, definitely. But I'd say Roll20 is just like strictly better. Yes, says W. Brooks. Yes. No idea. Yep. No. You think so? All right, we're getting a lot of yeses. People seem to think that yeah, the elf can do this. So, answer from Jeremy Crawford: the intent is no. Interesting. The trance trait does let an elf meditate for 4 hours and then feel the way a human does after sleeping for 8 hours. But that isn't intended to shorten an elf's long rest. A long rest is a period of relaxation that is at least 8 hours long. It can contain sleep, reading, talking, eating, and other restful activity. Standing watch is even possible during it, but for no more than 2 hours. Maintaining heightened vigilance any longer than that isn't restful. In short, a long rest and sleep aren't the same thing. You can sleep when you're not taking a long rest, and you can take a long rest and not sleep. Here's what this means for an elf. An elf can spend 4 hours in a trance during a long rest and then has 4 additional hours of light activity. While an elf's companions are snoozing, the elf can be awake and engaged in a variety of activities, including carving a lovely trinket, blah 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 blah. The trance trait is ultimately meant to highlight the otherworldly character of elves, not to give them an edge in a game. That all said, if you're the DM and you decide to let trance shorten elf's long rest, you're not going to break the game. You're making a world-building choice if you do so. You're deciding that elves on a global scale are ready to re-enter a fight before anyone else, that they heal faster than most humanoids, and that they regain their magical energy faster. Such a choice would make sense in a world where elves are the dominant race, where they not only live longer than others, but also recover faster. Interesting answer. So 5 points to 5 points to Temple of Warden. Yeah, getting some alone time right there. Getting some alone time. So yeah, that was kind of interesting one for me because I was similarly under the impression that the trance trait just allows that to happen. So the intent is no, but the answer is kind of like maybe. I guess if the intention, yeah, I guess if that was the intention, then the answer is kind of no. But yeah, kind of a trick question. I don't know. Let's go through some other ones. That's the first one. Maybe a trick question. Who knows? Okay, interesting class feature question. When you use extra attack, do you have to use the same weapon for all of the attacks? When you use the extra attack, do you have to use the same weapon for all attacks, or can you have different weapons going on between each attack? What do you guys think? Let's see what we've got going here. A little quiz section. I'll allow you guys to catch up, and I'm gonna go find another question for you guys in a second. There's like a million questions, and if you're cheating at home, then they're no good. Then you're no good. So let's see. Yes, says Labooze. Okay. You can use it. No, says Templar Warden. Nope. There's a pub quiz. There's a pub quiz. Man, if I had D&D pub quizzes, I've been down there even more. So the majority seems to be of a no. So once again, all the way back up here. When you use extra attack, do you have to use the same weapon for all of the attacks? Methinks the answer is no. Okay. Yes, you have the same weapon since changing weapons is another action. Yes, unless dual wielding. Alright, let's see what the answer is. So, kind of mixed opinions here. Extra attack imposes no limitation on what you use for the attacks. You can use regular weapons, improvised weapons, unarmed strikes, or a combination of these options for the attacks. So the answer is yes. The answer is in fact no. Do you have to use the same weapon? No, you don't. You can switch them up. So no limitation on what you use for the attacks there, which is interesting. So you know, we think we know things about a game, and then Jeremy Crawford comes along, switches it up, changes it all around for us. So, okay. Another question about archery here for fighters. Does the archery fighting style work with a melee weapon that you throw? Wrong again. I failed to be his DM. I'm feeling smart. So, yeah. Does the archery fighting style work with a melee weapon that you throw? What do you think about this one? Thinking yeah, thinking nay. It's interesting, isn't it? You think you know some things about the game, and then it's like, oh fuck me, I was so wrong. No. There's part of your moving things, yeah. Yeah, it's not a failure. In fact, you know, getting things wrong is actually really, really good and very healthy. You know, like in learning. You know. So what do we think? Archery fighting style works with a melee weapon that you can lob at someone. Yes, if you throw your bow. Nope. Nope. A lot of no's in. So feeling like it's a no answer. No idea on this one. The answer is no. The archery feature benefits ranged weapons. A melee weapon such as a dagger or hand axe is still a melee weapon when you make a ranged attack with it. So I think most of you guys got that one correct in that no. You cannot use a melee weapon when using your archery fighting style to get the bonus from that. And thank you to Raw Burt for following. Welcome to the event, my friend. You're a gentleman and a scholar. If you guys haven't followed, by the way, hit that follow button and join us. So, throwing don't count. There we go. Let us see here. I want to get some ranger ones as well. Or maybe a rogue. In fact, this is a good one for rogue. And this is a conundrum for you guys. This is like a scenario for you guys. So, what would you rule in this case? For sneak attack, what if your ally was 10 feet away with a polearm, which has a reach of 10 feet, instead of 5 feet away? Would you still be able to use sneak attack? So, sneak attack is usually if you have an ally within 5 feet, then you get the bonus. But what if your ally is 10 feet away, but has a polearm, which has a reach of 10 feet? Does that still count? Would you get the sneak attack bonus in this case? That is the question. What do you guys think? Let's get some answers in here. That's a more tricky one than the others, I think. That's a slightly different one. So, yeah. One last time. If your ally is 10 feet away with a polearm, which has a reach of 10 feet, instead of 5 feet away, would you still be able to use sneak attack? Let's see what you guys are saying. I would say yes, because they would still be engaged. Okay. Okay. Interesting. So we've got a yes in immediately. Yes, because they are a threat to the enemy, says Little Mac. No, says Loraz. Okay, this one's for 10 points, guys. This one's more difficult. I'll give it to you. No, because it's not a finesse weapon. Okay. No, the enemy is not technically engaged with your ally, but your ally is. Sneak attack suggests that the enemy needs to be engaged. Only if the ally has a polearm mastery feat, because this also increases a friend area to 10 feet. Or if you have a bow that fires dexterity. I'd say yes, because in combat. No, says Basho. Yes, even though the rule raw says 5 feet. I think yes. Okay, let's see. So this is an interesting one, and I don't know if I would get this one right at all if, if I didn't have the answer in front of me. So, so the answer is the 5-foot limitation in sneak attack is unaffected by the reach of your ally's weapon. Your ally is creating a close-up distraction regardless of the weapon in hand. So the answer is no. The answer is no, basically. If your ally is 10 feet away with a polearm, which is a reach of 10 feet, then you're not allowed to get a sneak attack bonus in the word of the rules. So, I agree with Yindi. Rule of cool, I would do it, definitely. That's probably one of the rulings from Wizards that I would disagree with myself. But, you know. And thank you to Liam Nerson for following. Welcome to the event, my friend. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Thank you for joining us today. If it's your average everyday polearm, no one will be distracted. It's only the curve that makes it distracting. Let's see. Are the mechanics for ending him rightly, that is, unscrewing the pommel of your sword and throwing at your enemy? Improvised attack, I'd say, probably. Yeah, so that's an interesting one. What are our opinions on that one? I think rule of cool, I would make it happen, but what can you do, eh? All right, so let us see. All right, we've got some interesting questions here. I don't like spell questions because they're so fucking long. All right, what about an interesting, kind of easier one? So, simple question, really. Can you have more than one background? Can you have more than one background? Could you have a sailor and criminal background? Let's see. Well, no, polar animals reaches 17,000 feet. It's very true. Well, inches, yeah. So, can you have more than one background? We'll get some answers in here. I'll wait for the chat to catch up. No. Firebringer Axel. No. Correct, who says? A lot of no's in so far. We're leaning towards not able to do it. This one's a bit simpler, I suppose. No. The Boo says yes. Liam says yes, but only getting the perk of one. You can make a custom one, you can customize them, but you can't have more than one. Yes, but you must discuss with the DM how to spell the trace from true. Yeah, I guess that's a custom one, Little Mac. Yeah, I guess you are right in that sense that you can just mix them together and that's your own custom background. Yeah, okay. Yes, if the DM says I can. That's true. I mean, all of these questions are... I mean, yeah, your DM might let you rule the other way, but in the rules of the game, as is printed in 5th edition, I guess what we're doing here. Only one perk, you have more than one stories, yeah. I'd say yes for RP purposes, no in technical rules, yeah. So I guess that's a general thing, like, this is technical rules. I would probably allow for a lot of these things to happen even if they wouldn't, and vice versa. So, can you have more than one background? Answer, you can have only one background. It represents key aspects of your life before you embarked on the life of an adventure. If none of the backgrounds available matches your character concept, talk with your DM and use the guidelines on page 125 of the Player's Handbook to customize your own background. So, interesting. No more than one background. I think most of us got that one right, but a few of us would let it happen anyway, so I'd possibly allow it to happen. You never know. Let's see. Here is one just about ability checks. This is just about like a core mechanic about rolling. A paladin uses a background, Town Guard, and Acolyte, but took some of the traits, yeah. So there you go. I think most of us were about right, and then we'd probably let us just like customize as well. So, can you get a critical on an ability check? For example, on a grapple attempt, does a critical win or the highest number? What do you guys think? Can you get a critical on an ability check, such as a grapple attempt or so on? Can you crit? Yeah, I'll be happy to, W. Brooks. Happy to guys give you a link on this one in a few moments here. So I'd be interested to see what you guys think about this one. I'm not going to give anything away. Criticals only affect attack rolls. Yes, a natural 20 is an automatic success. They only mean something for attack rolls and death saves. Yep. You can get a critical success. No. We've got mixed opinions in here in the chat. Not in this version. That's how I DM. Okay, so again, this is, I mean, like, we all might DM things different ways, but I guess we're talking raw here. I guess we're talking by the Wordle rules. No, but most people make an automatic success. No. Okay. So the answer is ability checks don't score critical hits. Attack rolls do. Simple as that. However, I totally run ability checks as getting nat 20s as being like critical hits and successes. But yeah, in this version of rules, ability checks don't score critical hits. Attack rolls do. I'm sure a lot of us would definitely rule that differently. I mean, like, basically every DM that I've ever played with, if you roll a 20 on a dice, you critically succeed. So there you go. Yeah, no worries, Liam. No worries, my man. So yeah, I accept crits and fails and all checks. Yeah, I know very few DMs that don't, and I think most players just generally expect that to be a thing anyway. So, but in the rules of the game, there you go. So that's an interesting one. All right, so I'm gonna get some other ones here. We've got some quite interesting ones. Some of them are like really complex and not particularly interesting. So here's an interesting one just about movement and stuff like this, which we're just about to get to our two. So yeah, so this is a question. Can you move through a prone enemy? Can you move through a prone enemy? And this is, again, as before, in the words of the rules, you might let it happen, your DM might let it happen, but as this game was printed, can you move through a prone enemy? Yeah, we're doing a little quiz here, and then we're going to get on to how to find a D&D group, so don't worry, my friends. If you're interested in getting to that bit, we're almost there. Twitter native, if you put a number after the dungeon, then that's how you can work it, my man. Also, if you don't have any gold, you can hit that follow button and join us. We're here 5 nights a week, 10 shows a week, and yeah, got a show happening later, which is an actual play. Section 1, I don't remember. Okay, yes. Prone, no, but sleep, yes. You can plow through anyone who is prone of enough lube. I mean, that's true, Gagi. I believe so. No, says Templar Warden. Okay. I guess some more opinions. No. Hallis and Daniel, no, not at all. Okay. You indeed allow it, but for double movement cost. I think a prone character can be moved through, but still counts difficult terrain. Taylor says no, because I believe they still occupy the same square. Interesting. So, the answer, can you move for a prone enemy, is the prone condition doesn't override the rule that prevents you from moving through an enemy's space, unless that enemy is at least 2 sizes larger or smaller than you. If you do move through another creature's space, whether a friend or an enemy, the space is difficult terrain for you, and you can't willingly end your move there. See the Player's Handbook, page 190 to 92, for more on movement in combat. So, yeah, if you do move through another creature's space, whether a friend or an enemy, the space is difficult terrain for you, if that person is prone, and you cannot end your turn there. So, yeah. If you view for so many hours, you get gold, right? Yeah, you do. I think it's only incapacitated, it's like 10 feet of movement. I think it's that you guys are catching up. Prone character, friend or foe. Halflings can use disadvantage after an ability check. Can a cube-shaped creature be knocked prone? Prone enemy? On opportunity if you go. So yeah, interesting. Maybe, do you guys like this quiz? I mean, you get a lot of responses here, so I might carry on the quiz for a little bit. Let's see. D&D quiz. What should I say? I'll get some other questions here in a second. There are a lot of like errata from previous months as well. We could do a little bit more of this. I'm quite enjoying doing a little quiz here. Love talking about it. D&D quiz. How much do you know? Question mark. All right. I will delay the thingy to the last half hour. So we'll do another like 20 or 30 minutes of this because I'm enjoying this as well. I'm interested as well. It helps me learn as a DM as well. So let's go down. Yeah, just give me a few seconds to set some bits up, and I shall quiz woo. I know nothing. Totally agree. Actually, make the quiz a thing. Quiz Q&A session hybrid. I like it. I like the quiz. All right. Okay. I will. I'll tweet about the quiz. We're live doing a D&D quiz right now. How much do you really know about D&D? That's interesting. It is. It's kind of a good learning curve, and then it's kind of like, how would we interpret these rules ourselves? I'd kind of like to know that as well. Like, you know, we've got actually how they are printed, and then we can talk about our opinions and how we'd actually like them to be played in our own games, which I kind of like. So yeah, let's do this. Okay, cool. I will just finish up here and find another question for the quiz. We need to find a way of like scoring this as well. You guys can keep your own scores, okay? Can we ask questions to see what you know? We've got a Q&A session at the end of the show, so yeah. You know nothing, Jon Snow. Alright, so let's go back to my page here. Here. Alright, so next question. Ooh. Interesting. This is a good one. So, if I use the ready action to deal damage to someone who's moving, do I deny the target the rest of its movement? So, if you've readied an action and then someone goes by and you hit them and you damage them, does that deny them the rest of the movement? Interesting. I know everything. Gold for correct answers, yeah. Winter is coming. So, let's see. And I'll let you guys catch up. And we'll see what we think the answers are. I'm going to go looking for another one as well, because there's a lot of good questions in here. Oh, yeah, I know what my next one is, actually. Okay, no, lots of no's, lots of no's. No, just opportunity attacks, go for it. No, you don't. No about Sentinel Feet. And thank you to Zelok for following. Welcome to the Adventure, my friend. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Welcome to the Adventure, my friend. So mostly a lot of no's. A lot of no's in chat. This one, no, if they don't die, that's true. That's a held action as an effect, knocking prone. Yes, if your knock hits them prone. Okay. They can change movement after you hit them. When a DM says interesting, I get scared. No, but that gives the ready player an attack opportunity as a moving target past free movement space. No. So essentially 2 attacks. I don't think that is necessarily true. Is he not rather? Insray, nope. I would maybe accept if they're wording a mole or something. So the rule is the sorry, different one. I'm looking back up there. No, where did it go? Dealing damage to a moving target doesn't halt its movement unless the damage is accompanied by an ability that stops the movement. Things like the Sentinel Feat give you such an ability. Reducing a moving creature to 0 hit points is also usually an effective way to stop it. So the answer is no, unless you've got a Sentinel Feat or some other thing. Like I say, yeah, I'd probably allow it if there was like a big maul attack or something like that. Yeah. So, alright, that is the answer to that one. So this is another interesting question, because a lot of these conditions aren't usually kind of, they're played very differently usually, so I'd be interested to see what you guys say on this one. So, if a creature is grappled, can it still attack and use its special abilities? So, we're talking about the grappled condition here. Can it still attack and use its special abilities? Because a lot of people do grappling fairly differently. Dual World Fighter Dex Space at Sentinel, totally working nice. Yes, says EAND. Yes. Can it still attack and use its special abilities? Yep. Lots of yeses. Nope, says Xenos. Okay. So you can't use. Yes, but a disadvantage. Okay. Interesting. Yes, grapple does not incapacitate. Yes, lots of yeses. Okay, so we're feeling like a lot of yeses. Depends on the special ability or type of attack, really. Okay. Well, the answer is the grappled condition limits movement, not attacks, spellcasting, and the like. That said, many grappling abilities, such as a roper's tendril attack, also deliver effects like the restrained condition. So, grappling itself only limits movement, not attacks and spellcasting, but they usually come with something else. It is interesting. Some people I know have played that differently, grappling as well. Alright, what about spell attacks? Now, spells are really odd in D&D 5e. They must break free, okay. Well, arms are bound, that's my point, bound or grappled. Don't know the official rule limit for me, it depends on how they grapple and the type of ability. It's interesting, isn't it? Because the term grapple would seem one which is like you've got someone bound, right? You've grappled them. But in the condition of the game, it actually reads yeah. That's funny on Twitter. Yeah, it actually reads it totally differently. So, interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. So, if the arms are bound and the condition is restrained, that's right, yeah. So you have different conditions going on. And thank you to Danger Mouse for following. Welcome to the adventure, my friend, a gentleman and a scholar. I'm a big fan of Danger Mouse myself, actually, so represent, brother. Grapple means grabbed, yeah. But, you know, it's interesting how our terminology is different from game terminology. I like it. So, interesting one about spell attacks. Is a touch range spell considered a melee attack for the purposes of subduing foes rather than killing. So for the purposes of subduing foes rather than killing, you're attempting to knock them out. Is it considered a melee attack? A Dragonborn can spit in your face. True. Yeah, so that's kind of an interesting one. Hadn't considered that to be a kind of question before. Can that happen? I want to know what you guys think, and then I'm going to tell you guys the answers. This is great, me knowing all the answers. I actually don't know a lot of these answers. Like, if you would ask me this, a lot of the rules and interpretations, I would just have interpreted myself. So it's kind of nice to know what the actual ruling is, and kind of interesting to think about that as well. So, I'm going to go back to some other ones as well. Okay. Touch spell. Can you repeat that? Did not get a question. Okay, so the question is, one more time. Is a touch range spell considered a melee attack for purposes of subduing foes rather than killing? So you're not trying to kill the person, you're just trying to subdue them. Is a touch range spell considered a melee attack for those purposes? It must be a melee attack to be incapacitated. Interesting. If it's ranged, it's not melee. Would a touch spell be considered melee attack? Yeah. As an option rule. No, I wouldn't have thought so. Yes. Yes. Okay. No. Hopefully that question is clear enough. In fact, I don't think that question is asked particularly well. Like, I don't think it's phrased particularly well, so I apologize for that. No. We got some mixed opinions on this one. So one more time. Is a touch range spell considered a melee attack for purposes of subduing foes rather than killing? Yes, it's the same as a tug job, obviously. Maybe select shocking grasp. Was that your call? Let's go, my man. Yes, for the same reason throwing a weapon does not count for archery. Okay. Okay, let's see what the answer is. So the answer to this one, having a range of touch doesn't mean a spell is a melee attack. A spell tells you if it delivers such an attack. So, having a range of touch doesn't mean a spell is a melee attack. So the answer is no to that one. So, alright, this is a question about casting time, seeing as we're on to spells, and spells notoriously difficult. What's up, Bear? We're doing a quiz right now, my man. So range, yeah. So yeah, interesting. You learn something new every day. What's up, Dakota? So alright, so casting time. Is there a limit on the number of spells you can cast on your turn? Once again, is there a limit on the number of spells you can cast on your turn? Interesting. Feeling better, good guy pie. Feeling much better, my man. I'm enjoying the quiz. So what about Mage Hand slapping someone? I mean, I guess that's up to your DM, so I suppose. Now, if it's a touch range spell that does bludgeoning damage. Yes, there is a limit. Okay. What is the limit, I suppose, is the question as well. A lot of yeses. Everyone says yes, there is a limit. You can only cast one spell or one cantrip on a turn. Yes, over 9,000. Everyone says yes to this one. Other than Danger Mouse, who says no, because he's a hipster. I like it. So, as far as I know, etc. So we've got an overwhelming amount of yeses in the chat compared to only a few no's. One cantrip and one bonus action spell, or one action spell. But if a spell's a reaction or bonus action, you would get more. Okay, interesting. So the word of the Crawford says, there is no rule that says you can only cast X number of spells on your turn, but there are some practical limits. The main limiting factor is your action. Most spells require an action to cast, and unless you use a feature like the fighter's action surge, you only have one action on your turn. If you cast a spell, such as Healing Word, with a bonus action, you can cast another spell with your action, but that other spell must be a cantrip. Keep in mind that this particular limit is specific to spells that use a bonus action. For instance, if you cast a second spell using Action Surge, you aren't limited to casting a cantrip with it. So basically the answer is there is no rule that says you can only cast X number of spells in your turn, but there are some practical limitations to how you can do it, which is an interesting answer. So technically technically no, but practically usually yes. So I guess it's a bit of a trick question, in a way. I get not a trick question, but I suppose, you know, it's an unusual answer. I would have figured that one as well. Like, yeah, of course there is a limit. Like you guys as well, most of you guys as well. But yeah, there's no rule that says you can only cast X number of spells in a turn. So apparently, you know, that is all that Crawford says. So that's how it's written in Raw. So okay, interesting. So here's another question about spellcasting, which I don't know. Has exceptions. Can if you have haste. Yeah. So I guess there's rules to get around it. So interesting stuff. All right. So the next one is, can you also cast a reaction spell on your turn? Can you also cast a reaction spell on your turn? I want to know what you guys think about this actually, because I don't know what I'd reply that one. Yes, you can cast a reaction spell on your turn. Yes. With a certain feat, okay. Yes, if the trigger is met. Counterspell like counterspell that was being counterspelled. No, says already you can't cast a reaction. Yes, if the trigger is met, says Roxina. Can you cast a reaction spell on your turn in response to a readied action? Perhaps, yeah. Warlock can. Kirk says no. I'd say no if it's called a reaction spell. I would think that you have to wait for someone or something to attack you, right? Hence it being called the reaction. Yeah, okay. So a lot of yeses, a few nos. If it's instantaneous, says Basho. Interesting. Interesting that yeah, okay. So here is the answer. You sure can! Here's a common way for it to happen. Cornelius the Wizard is casting Fireball on his turn, and his foe casts Counterspell on him. Cornelius has Counterspell prepared, so he uses his reaction to cast it and break his foe's Counterspell before it can stop Fireball. So yes, you can. And exactly the same way you said, you can have a reaction spell on your turn. You can counterspell someone's counterspell, and they could counterspell that. So there you go. That is that's kind of interesting. And a counterspell chain, yeah. So that is the answer for that one. Okay, so all right. Here we go. Let me look at some other questions. Some of them aren't like so good. Some of them are like really obvious, or some of them are just like, oh god. Okay, so I guess this is another one to do with ability checks. Is a 1 on an ability check an automatic failure? Is a 1 on an ability check an automatic failure? Is a 1 on a... I think this one, maybe we covered this one earlier with a similar question, but we'll see. I counter your counter with my counter. You have activated my trap card. My god. A used to count spells later, the fireball does minimum damage. We've got no, yes, yes, no, no. Boy, some interesting ones. It's the same as a 20, it's just a number. No, lots of no's in chat. If we did answer, we did do a similar one earlier, which if you were here might give you the clue for that one. Nope, just a really bad roll. Nope, can't create on ability checks. So I think that one's fairly well known after we did the last one. So rolling a 1 on an ability check or a saving throw is not an automatic failure. A 1 is only an automatic miss for an attack. So there we go. No in the book, but I play it away. No in book, yes to all DMs, yeah. Pretty much, yeah. No, but you probably failed anyway, it's true. So, but some DMs house rule it. Most DMs roll it as an automatic fail. Yeah, I think like at most tables, if you roll a 1 or if you roll a 20, it's either a nat 1 or a nat 20, like in the way that it's played. I don't think any same DM would put forth an ability check that was completely incapable of failing. That's a fair answer actually there, Sasha. That is a fair answer. So, had another one here that I was interested in. So, this one's about adventuring, and this is one, I guess, which a lot of people would DM and house rule, but let's take this as what the rule is in the game, remember. So, is there an intended way to get lost intelligence back, such as after an intellect devourer zeroes it? And if so, what is the answer? So what is the answer to, is there an intended way to get lost intelligence back? So if yes, what is it? And no, then obviously then it's just no. So it's either yes, it is this, or no. Or yes, but I don't know what it is. Reading a book. Wish is always the answer. Yes, wish spell? Okay. If hit 0, you are dead. Divine intervention? Yes, time travel. Okay. So I guess the important word here is like the intended way, which I suppose, I don't know. I guess most DMs might intend things to grow differently. If your intelligence is 0, I'd say you're a vegetable. Quite possibly. Quite possibly vegetabled. Yes, but I have to go back to school now. Yes, by a tone that raises int. If any attribute is reduced to 0, even charisma. I think they mean 0'd to, like, +0. But I don't know. True. Yeah, I guess you could house roll that. Yes, but make a magical spell that grants int, not just restores it. I think there is, but apart from wrist spell, similar magics or divine intervention, I don't know how. So the answer, anything that increases that, the answer is the greater restoration spell can remove the reduction to an ability score. So that apparently is the intended way that wizards think if you lose your intelligence from an intellect devourer, then you cast greater restoration is the answer. But I agree with your answers as well. The wish spell would also work. Anything which raises the score, I think, would also work. So I think there could be more to that answer that you didn't put in there as well. Oh, okay. This is an interesting one to do with readied actions and opportunity attacks, because we had a question about it earlier. So, not okay, man. Charisma. So yeah, that was the answer to that one. Yeah. Okay, so this is a good one, and I like this one a lot. So, I have a readied action. Can I stop readying to make an opportunity attack? Or is ready a full turn commitment? Okay, once again, I have a readied action. Can I stop readying to make an opportunity attack? Or is ready a full turn commitment? And not just on your turn as well, the entire turn. So, you've got a readied action. Can you make an opportunity attack and stop your readying to do that? Or can you not? Is it a full turn commitment? A long term commitment, man. Let's see your answers in a second. Yes. You're ready in action, not a turn. Yeah, ready is your turn, reaction is triggered. Full turn since you described what you was doing, okay. But then you cannot use a ready because it requires your action as well. Yes. No. You can cancel your readied action. You can do both, Zazinos. Oh. You hipster, sir. So, lots of yeses. So you can choose not to act, stay your blade. Yes is the answer to this tutorial. Okay. 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 So, you can use your readied and attack of opportunity. Okay. Opportunity attacks like surprise orgasm can happen at any time. Sure. Alright, so the answer is, if you have an action readied, you can make an opportunity attack, which causes you to stop readying. Causes you to stop readying. So if you do, so the answer is yes, but it makes you stop readying. So it cancels your readied action. So yeah, interesting rule about readies, because readying actions is something which is like not one of those rules that everyone knows, I suppose. So or, you know, everyone does like the same way, I guess. People house rule it and do different things, but as it is printed, then yeah. So, let's see. Oh, this is a good one as well about combat. If a wizard casts a spell like Fireball during a surprise round, dueling enemies get disadvantage on their saving throw. If a wizard casts a spell like Fireball during a surprise round, dueling enemies get disadvantage on their saving throw. What do you think? Okay, Reg Cypher. Rest in peace, my man. So, if they're surprised, are they making their saves a disadvantage or not? Interesting. Interesting. So what do you guys think about this one? No? Yes? I'd rule yes because rule of cool. I could say you could argue for it. No. Okay. Raw no, but I would say yes. Okay. 0. I guess it's no? No way, would they? It depends on the enemy's sight. True, cocky. Rule of cool. Alright, but rule of cool is different from how it's printed, you know? They roll at disadvantage, you think? Yes. I would have thought so as they were surprised they wouldn't get a chance to act in their first turn. If they're seeing the spellcaster, I think not. Okay. So a lot of mixed opinions on this one. We don't know whether or not that is a yay or a nay, I don't think. In fact, as well, another way you can you can let your vote be known is either vote yay or vote nay on these ones. So it's like a house rule. How fast does a fireball travel? I don't know. It kind of like vaguely immediately, I think. What's up, Raffi? How's it going, my man? Let's see what the answer is. So, being surprised has no effect on saves. If you're surprised, you can't move or take an action on your first turn of the combat, and you can't take a readied action until that turn ends. PHB, page 189. So, there you go. It's a rule that's printed that they do not have disadvantage on their saving throws if you cast a spell like Fireball during a surprise round. So, that is it, string ones. So, alright, so let's see some other ones. You got some specific spell ones. Well, I probably don't want to do that one. Let's see, components. Oh, this is an interesting one. So, coming to spell components, if you're using components in a spell, a speed fire blazingly fast. The fun's boys. So, does a spell consume its material components? Does a spell consume its material components? Damn, I'm good and I'm a noob on D&D. It's a great idea for a stream. I've got to run a meeting, but I want to stop in and show some love and support. Have a great stream, man. No worries, Raffi. I'll be getting to your email soon, my man. And have a good meeting, dude. Only if it's said. Oh, interesting. Whilst you guys are getting your answers, I remind you folks, if you're new to Encounter Roleplay, hit that follow button and join us. We've got a show starting in like an hour and 40 minutes, which is the Samurai Sigil. It's a kind of, as you might imagine, samurai-inspired campaign. It's going to be a lot of fun. And when we hit 20 followers today, you guys will get to decide something which happens in the game. You get a viewer decision. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, only if it said yes, only if it says. If it's not said, it does not consumed. That is how material components always have worked, yes. Only if it said so in the spellbook. Spells will tell you if they're used. Depends on description, only if it says. Unless it no, unless it says. Only if stated. No, it's a focus, maybe. Of course it does, Kirky. So, okay, so we've got a lot of yeses, a lot of no, only if it's stated. Yes, unless it says otherwise. Only if it specifies on the spell. Okay, so the answer is a spell does not consume its material components unless the description says it does. For example, the pearl required by the Identify spell isn't consumed, whereas the diamond required by Raise Dead is used when you cast the spell. So a lot of you guys were right. No, unless it says so. So there you go. Only if on a new show, yeah. Very glad I dropped in here. That's good. Oh, good. We'll keep it up, man. Yeah, I like this stuff. When it has gold specifies, it consumes too. Interesting. So yeah, material components do not... are not consumed unless the description says otherwise. And thank you to Apocalypse448 for following. Welcome to the adventure, my friend. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Alright. So, interesting answer there. A lot of us play that differently. It's kind of interesting. Ooh. Okay, so this is another one on spellcasting material components. Seeing as we don't know anything about this, do we, guys? So, if a spell's material components are consumed, can a spellcasting focus still be used in place of the consumed component? I'll read that one again, it's longer. If a spell's material components are consumed, can a spellcasting focus still be used in place of the consumed component? And thank you to Yindi for following. Welcome, my friend, to the adventure. You're a gentleman and a scholar, sir. Alright, let's see. No? No worries, dude. No, lots of no's. Sadly, no. Sadly, no. Yes, unless it lists a value. Nope. If it's consumed, you must have the component. Nope, 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 no. Lots of no's in chat. Okay. A lot of no's. As far as I know, no. As far as I know. Okay. Interesting. So we've got a lot of no's in. And I'll read this one out. The answer is no. A spellcasting focus can be used in place of a material component only if that component has no cost noted in the spell's description, and if that component isn't consumed. So, interesting answer there. No. No. No! Okay. Alright. Another one on concentration. In fact, the first one on concentration, because this is a rule I tend not to use so much, but concentration is another one of those rules which is played very differently and or misplayed, I suppose, a fair amount. Anything goes in Vegas. So there, a lot of you guys got that one right. A few guys have learned something new. I like it. So, one on concentration and duration. So, if you are concentrating on a spell, do you need to maintain line of sight with the spell's target or the spell's effect? One more time. If you're concentrating on a spell, do you need to maintain line of sight with the spell's target or the spell's effect? Yeah, fuck concentration, man. I feel you there, dude. I need to release a list of spells that have consumed or value components reference. That could be useful. Nope, Hunter's Mark, as he knows. Yeah, says Good Guy Pie. No. You'd say no? Okay. Got some mix. Lots of no's coming in. Do you need to maintain line of sight with the spell's target with concentration? Dependent on spell. But I say no and different in general. I'm different. Banishment is one spell that you can't see the creature. If it would, I've been cheating for mums. So, the answer for this one, you got no. Got lots of no's coming in. The answer for this one, a lot of you guys are correct. You don't need to be within line of sight or within range to maintain concentration on a spell, unless a spell's description or game feature says otherwise, or other game feature. Oh, I don't want to do that one. That sounds interesting. So there you go. Yeah, you do not need to maintain line of sight, so don't worry today. You haven't been cheating. Okay. Another one on spellcasting, because I'm kind of interested by these ones. These ones pose a lot of interesting conundrums. Can a spellcaster dismiss a spell after casting it? Can a spellcaster dismiss a spell after casting it? Spells are complex, aren't they? Yeah, this is a good one to trip us all up on. Alright. Let me find some more music. Okay. Yes, yes. Lots of yeses. A lot of yeses coming in. Depends. Yep, depending on spell. Yes, it depends. Okay. Okay. If it's concentration, yeah. Okay. So we've got a lot of yeses. Unless spell says otherwise, I think you can. Okay. So the answer is to, can a spellcaster dismiss a spell after casting it? You can't normally dismiss a spell that you cast unless A, its description says you can, or B, it requires concentration and you decide to end your concentration on it. Otherwise, a spell's magic is unleashed on the environment, and if you want to end it, you need to cast Dispel Magic on it. So the answer is essentially no, unless the spell says it can, or it requires concentration which you can't keep up. And thank you to RG Silverthorn for following. Welcome to the event, my friend. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Alright, interesting. Once you have a spell, you have no control over it, only if it's concentrated on it. Okay, yeah, so there you go. Interesting one. I would usually probably rule it as you could dismiss some spells. But yeah, I like it. Interesting. Okay, there's some kind of specific ones here. Oh, these are specific spell questions I could ask. Okay. And thank you also to Dragon Water for following. Welcome to the event, my friend. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Alright, so... okay. This is one on Fireball. So we had a Fireball question earlier, why not? Can a spell, such as Fireball, go past its 20-foot radius if the point of origin is set in an enclosed space? Can a spell, such as Fireball, go past its 20-foot radius if the point of origin is set in an enclosed space? In an enclosed. That's not an easy sentence to say. Let's see. People have been tuning Devon. Got some no's in. As you know, you might need some more gold, my man. Sometimes that happens. You get a fail message if you don't have enough gold, so I'll give you 100 there, buddy. No from Firebringer Axel. That's an interesting name as well. A lot of no's. Or not. Distance spell or not. No. Nope. This is perhaps one of the easier ones, I don't know. Again, a lot of people would rule this very differently, so it's kind of interesting to see what you guys would say. Logic would say yes, but I'm not sure if it's meant to be used like that in the rules. Okay, yeah. Well, that makes sense, I guess. Maybe, says Sasha, maybe. Maybe. Okay. Let me just go back up to the answer. So, we've got lots of no's. Depends on the strength of the explode space. Wall should have a check to explode outward. I may allow it depending on the circumstances. Yeah, okay, yeah, makes sense. So, the answer from Raw is the fire of the Fireball spell can spread around corners, but it's limited by the spell's 20-foot radius. So, yeah, the answer is no, but it can spread around corners, which is cool. So, what about familiars? This is I've got some other ones moving on to monsters in a second, but one last one on spells. Maybe is always the right answer, yeah. True, with D&D it usually is. So one last one on spellcasting. Can the familiar you conjure with the Find Familiar spell use the Help action to grant you advantage on your attack roll? Can the familiar you conjure with the Find Familiar spell use the Help action to grant you advantage on your attack roll? Casting a pressurized chamber, yes it can, yes indeed. Yes it can, it's a lot of people. Yep, lots of yeses. Oh, a whole host of yeses. I thought we'd have more differences of opinions on this one. Maybe not. Let's see. A lot of yes. W. Brooks. Karg says yes. That I don't know. Okay. Nope, just cause. Because I hate familiars. No. Okay, a few more no's coming in now. I think the majority say yes. If it can, you can't tell a certain Drow Warlock she's already OP enough. Okay. Not familiar with this one, yeah. It's an interesting one. So, let's see. A familiar can't attack, but it can take non-attack actions, including help. As the text of the help action indicates, the action doesn't require you to be able to attack. You simply need to be able to provide some sort of distraction. So, there you go. Yes, it can. A lot of you guys were right, a few guys were wrong. But that's okay. We're all learning. We're all learning. So, let's see what other ones are on. Okay, so on to monsters. Now, monsters, this one's probably slightly more for DMs. Familiar so far as waterboarding somebody who had one. Okay. So, moving on to monsters. So. Okay, so. Is natural armor considered light armor? We're talking about monsters here. So a lot of monsters have natural armor on their stat block. Is that considered light armor? For the sake of the rules. Oh, I've got another girl on here. That's an interesting one, the next one. So is natural armor considered light armor? I wonder what you guys think about this one. Or if you rule it differently. Water Ganassi Cleric for the win. I like it. I like it. Let me get back here. Lots of no's. Lots of no's coming in. And mind you guys, we're actually giving away a copy of Storm King's Thunder. I should have mentioned it earlier. A lot of no's. No, 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 no. Okay, it looks like we're like 100% in the no's for this one. Depends on the monster's fat percentage. Nope. So, here we go. The answer is indeed no. Natural armor doesn't fit into the categories of light, medium, and heavy armor, and when you have it, it isn't considered to be an armor that you are wearing. There you go. So, this one is perhaps a different one. Or perhaps it's a more complicated one, perhaps. Who knows? Is the breath weapon of a dragon magical? Is the breath weapon of a dragon magical? Now, we're not talking Dragonborn here. We're not talking about the player race. We're talking about dragon monsters from the monster manual. Is their breath weapon considered magical? I want to know what you guys think on this one. We've got no's. You've got yeses. No's. A few yeses. No, it's elemental, says Kailania. Interesting answer. Not unless it states such. Oh. Okay. I always thought it was a yes. Okay. No, it's produced by mixing elements. Okay. And this is Puff the Magic Dragon, true. No, but I'd rule yes because there's supposed to be beings of pure magic. Nah. No, says Diesel Guy. Big Walking Carpet says, I would say no, it's a natural ability. What's up, Big Walking? How's it going, my man? Okay. How would it not be magical? That ruined my entire childhood worth of fairy tales. Alright, I'll give it a few more seconds for you guys to get in some answers, and I'll give you the true answer. If the fire comes from his nipples, I would say, hell yeah, that magic. But true, fair enough, Yoggle. That does make sense. Alright, and so the answer is, if you cast anti-magic fields, don armor of invulnerability, or use another feature of the game that protects yourself against magical or non-magical effects, you might ask yourself, will this protect me against the dragon's breath? The breath weapon of a typical dragon is not considered magical, so anti-magic field won't help you, but the armor of invulnerability will. You might be thinking, dragons seem pretty magical to me, and yes, they are extraordinary. Their description even says that they're magical. But our game makes a distinction between two types of magic. One, the background magic that is part of the D&D multiverse's physics and the physiology of many D&D creatures. And two, the concentrated magical energy that is contained in a magic item or channeled to create a spell or other focused magical effect. In D&D, the first type of magic is part of that nature. It is no more dispellable than the wind. A monster like a dragon exists because of that magic-enhanced nature. The second type of magic is what the rules are concerned about. When a rule refers to something being magical, it's referring to that second type. Determining whether a game feature is magical is straightforward. Ask yourself these questions about the feature. Is it a magic item? Is it a spell? Is it a spell attack? Does the description say it's magical? If your answer to any of those questions of yes is yes, the feature is magical. Let's look at White Dragon's Cold Breath and ask ourselves those questions. First, Cold Breath isn't a magic item. Second, its description mentions no spell. Third, it's not a spell attack. Fourth, the word magical appears nowhere in its description. Our conclusion, Cold Breath is not considered magical game effect, even though we know that dragons are amazing, supernatural beings. There you go. What's up, Whistle? How's it going, my man? I'm sitting here answering questions. No worries, Zaru. So yeah, what's up, Andy? How's it going, my man? The dragon is magical. I dispel it. So a long answer to that one. Claire, what is happening? We're doing a D&D quiz from the raw rules of the game. So this isn't how you would rule it, but this is how the game itself is written. So a lot of these answers will be, well, my DM does it differently, and that's fair enough. But for this, we are doing just what the raw rules of the game says. Not the officer says, I knew that. Rosie's backwards dragon breath is also unspellable, but absolutely lethal. That's very true. What's up, cussing demon? How's it going, man? Okay, let's just change that to that. Okay, so I'm going to find another question there. I like that one because, you know, it's something, you know, Nidale was right. He'd consider Dragon's Reign magical, but in the terms of rules, maybe not. So, let's see, another one. Okay, let's have a look at magic items. Alright, yeah. In fact, that one's probably a really easy one. Let's go further down. Ooh. Alright, so here's a simple one, but often changed, misplayed, or house ruled. So, do magic weapons give you a bonus to attack and damage rolls? Do magic weapons give you a bonus to attack and damage rolls? You either notice one or you don't, I think. In 20 minutes until we switch. Yeah, we'll do it in a bit. We're enjoying this. Woodlow's racist at what's the against dragons. There's a no, a lot of no's, just damage. Just damage in, okay. So once again, does it give a bonus to attack and damage rolls? No, only damage. No, just damage. Okay, we've got a lot of no, just damages in. No, unless the item description says so. Interesting answer. Normally it does, actually. Ooh. You think so? Okay. Alright, let's see what the... yes, we'll go see the answers. Roll 20 says yes, says Nidea. Alright. Roll 20 says yes. Yes, unless otherwise stated. So, do magic weapons give you a bonus to attack and damage rolls? A magic weapon gives you a bonus to attack rolls and damage rolls only if the description says it does. Every magic weapon can bypass resistances and immunities to damage from non-magical attacks, but only certain magic weapons are more accurate and damaging than their non-magical counterparts. For example, a +1 longsword and a giant slayer both give you +1 to attack rolls and damage rolls, whereas neither a flame tongue nor a frost brand gives such a bonus. All 4 weapons, however, can bypass an earth elemental's resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical attacks. In short, a bonus to attack rolls and damage rolls is considered a special property of a magic weapon, not something that all magical weapons provide automatically. Very interesting. Very interesting. Definitely something different from what a lot of us thought there, I suppose. Or a lot of us, how we play it at least. So, yeah. Only if the description says it does. Some do, some don't. So not every weapon is a +1 or a +2 or +3. Only those weapons that specify being a +1 have that bonus. So, interesting. Very interesting. So, oh, okay, so one on bows. So my fighter attacks a creature with a magical longbow and non-magical arrows. Is the attack magical? You're using a magic bow, but your ammunition is not magical in any way. It's just a standard one. Dagger 4 + 17. Is that attack considered magical? Oh, we have 2 new emotes coming as well. In fact, we should have 3 coming soon, so that's awesome news. Okay. Yes. A lot of yeses in. Faded Soul, what's up, my man? Yes. It's not a polar, I'm not a dagger. We established that earlier, true. Yes. Claire says yes. It's cool, you still get attack rolls. I like it. A lot of yeses in. Basically, everyone's saying yes. And indeed, you guys are correct. The attacks made by a magical ranged weapon are magical, even if the ammunition isn't magical. It was clarified in the errata of the Dungeon Master's Guide. So, yeah, good job. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I'm going to scroll back up and find a few more, and then we will get to our bit on the hour in a moment here. So, we scroll back up, because I missed a bunch of them before that we didn't actually get to. So, okay, so, can a fighter have two fighting styles active at once? Dueling and defense, for instance. Can a fighter have two fighting styles active at the same time? Is that possible? Is it even possible, guys? How's that even possible?
Word of our community's acclaim spreads.
Hey, and thank you to Tishy for the host. What's up, Tishy? Is that even possible to have two fight styles active at the same time? Yes, as a class feature allows for it. Yes, no, maybe. Yes, styles are passive, says Faded Soul. Play a champion, meet the conditions for both, and yes. We're doing good, Tisha. We're doing a quiz. Diesel Guy says yes. A lot of yeses in, a few no's. Bit of a mix, which I like. We're doing good, Tisha. How are you? I did tweet I will do how to find a D&D group in a second, so I will do that in a second. See, I'll give you guys a few more seconds to get some answers in, and then we will find another one, and then a few minutes here. What's up, Anna? How's it going? How you doing? Alright, so can a fighter have two fighting styles active at once? Dueling and defense, for example. You can benefit from more than one fighting style option at a time, as long as they aren't mutually exclusive, such as dueling and great weapon fighting. So that's interesting. So yes, you can, but only if they aren't mutually exclusive. So there you go. So yeah. So technically, yeah. So what's up? Yeah. So there we go. Doing a mantis stance of half body and crane stance of the other. Oh man. Oh rip. That's so sad, Tishy. I'm sorry. I know. It sucks when things don't go how you plan them to. All right, we're gonna find one more question, and I'm gonna do a quick section on the how to find a D&D game, and then we can go back to some more questions if we want to. So, ooh, okay, this is a fun question. So, what happens if a druid wears metal armor? What happens if a druid wears metal armor? Okay, I wonder what you guys think about this one. I'd never considered that question before, but now I'm thinking about it. It's excellent. What happens if a druid was to wear some metal armor? It's not a simple yes or no. He starts wearing metal armor. Character says nothing. Nothing happens. They're not proficient with it, so they can't cast spells. Okay. Interesting. See what else we've got in here. They make a lot of noise. They get randomly killed because they're confused. They confuse the DM. They get lightning rod and attract lightning. They said it, but basically they wouldn't. Disadvantage on abilities and checks. They are forsaken. He falls down as it's too heavy. Not proficient. Can't use spells. They spontaneously combust. It's funny you should say that, Ishas. Can't remember how 5 years. Okay, so the answer from Jeremy Crawford. What happens if a druid wears metal armor? The answer is the druid explodes. Well, not actually. Druids have a taboo against wearing metal armor and wielding a metal shield. The taboo has been part of the class's story since the first class appeared in Eldritch Wizardry in 76 and the original PHB in 78. The idea is that druids prefer to be protected by animal skins, wood, and other natural materials that aren't the worked metal that is associated with civilization. They don't lack the ability to wear metal armor. They choose not to wear it. This choice is part of their identity as a mystical order. Thinking of it in these terms, a vegetarian can eat meat, but the vegetarian chooses not to. A druid typically wears leather, studded leather, or hide armor, and if a druid comes across scale mail made of a material other than metal, the druid might wear it. If you feel strongly about your druid breaking the taboo and donning metal, talk to your DM. Each class has story elements mixed with its game features. The two types of design go hand in hand with D&D. The story parts are stronger in some classes than in others. Druids and paladins have an especially strong dose of story in their design. If you want to depart from your class's story, your DM has the final say on how far you can go and still be considered a member of the class. As long as you abide by your character's proficiencies, you're not going to break anything in the game system, but you might undermine the story and the world being created in your campaign. So the answer is explodes is better. Yeah, depends on a vegetarian. So there you go. Something I actually didn't know about the class as a whole, that they didn't like to don metal. So there you go. We're gonna quickly go back to the quiz in a second, but I did want to